So let me go ahead and get started. This is from our friends at Inman.com. This is an industry source for real estate agents and brokers across the nation. And it is entitled Design Trends for Spring 2022 That You Need to Know Now. From the colors that are in and out to the perfect kitchen details, here are some of the latest ideas in home design that feel fresh right now. And gosh, man, there's a lot to unpack here. But one thing, so this is done by a designer, or written by a designer rather, and she is in Ventura, California. So there are regional tastes and trends as well, right, Darren? So this is certainly for Ventura from her side, and I'm sure she's done some research to generalize it a bit. But yeah, there are individual tastes in different areas as well. So
yeah, and yeah.
Okay, you know that ubiquitous gray paint you see everywhere, the one that's so popular with real estate investors that Bear even named a shade Flipper? It may finally be on its way out, according to a recent article by Insider. That's just one of the trends to watch for in spring 2022, which promises to see residential interiors change in ways large and small, driven in part by the wholesale cultural changes brought about by the pandemic and the resulting emphasis on more organic, nurturing home styles. This year's spring market may see a paradigm shifting interior design. Here are the trends to watch for. All right, new color stories. So why is gray going away? Long story short, color trends tend to have a shelf life of about a decade, and gray is nearing that benchmark. When it began, it felt like a fresh alternative to neutrals like white and beige, but its overuse has made it seem tired. In addition, so much time at home has made folks eager for a more personal look that's suited to their individual taste. Look for a wider variety of colors, especially in shades of always popular blue and Gen Z staple green. Wow. If you're trying to help your clients neutralize their space, remember that almost every color has a lighter, more neutral version available. Instead of white, consider the palest possible shades of other colors. Instead of beige, consider a richer, yet still adaptable camel, cocoa, or taupe.
So I do have a quick comment. I think gray left a lot of the communities we serve a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's been as clean as possible, and because a reasonable amount of the spaces we sell are smaller, so as clean as possible has been the priority, which has been white on white
Yeah.
for quite some time.
Yeah.
And the accents that we're seeing are not the typical even accent walls as much as we're seeing a reasonable amount of wallpaper with bold colors and patterns as accents, and a lot of the nature tones, the greens, and less or bold tones we're seeing as well. So that's definitely taking a hold more regularly now on what we're seeing.
Got it. Okay. So now we go to kitchens, kitchen reboots. This farmhouse kitchen, or the farmhouse kitchen, may finally be going away, particularly in its emphasis on open shelving instead of cabinetry. While many homeowners love the look of open shelves on their favorite HGTV show, in real life, it is rarely practical. That's because those shows involve carefully curated displays of perfectly coordinated dishes, all sized and arranged to perfection. That's just not how people live. And many homeowners have found that their open shelves just look jumbled and messy, no matter how many times they rearrange. In addition, prominent restaurant-style exhaust hoods seem to be on the way out, replaced by sleek exhaust fans built into the counter, stove, or cabinetry. These kitchen trends point to a cleaner, more minimalist approach to kitchen design. So what do you say to that?
Well, the shelf kitchens still look amazing. I think from a seller perspective, they'll probably stay trendy for a little while longer because they make the kitchen feel bigger and more open. Again, if it's a smaller space, it's extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And they can clearly be curated and coordinated to look perfect at an open house and a showing.
Right.
After that, if somebody chooses to replace them with some enclosed components,
right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, well, I was just going to say, earlier I said we're unpacking a lot of stuff. You know, uh, we're pretty much towards remodeling things here, remodeling ideas. But yeah, do you have a stager that's going to properly size things? Do you have an agent or agents that are thinking of these things? It really is a team effort. It's not just one designer saying do this. It's a little bit of an orchestra going on there. So
Sure, and these types of things happen from an agent perspective, both when you're prepping for sale,
mm,
taking out cabinets and putting in shelves, and or you've purchased on how you can make a space work better for you, as you mentioned in the beginning.
yeah.
I would be curious to see, I have seen the trend finally of counter depth refrigerators, like have been mainstream finally for about 5 years at reasonable prices. So I
Hmm.
think one of the limitations here in these downdraft exhaust systems
Mm,
that they're talking about, which are way more sleek and streamlined. Unfortunately, they are slightly less effective, but they'll probably get a little better. The big turning point there is, are they going to get more affordable to be more
uh,
mainstream? They're
yeah.
expensive to install. They go down under the house and vent
Mm,
out.
yeah.
So they're a little more involved, but yeah, I hope they do. I hope they
Yeah.
become more reasonably priced and improve.
Well, I have to say, I wasn't ready for it, but we just redid our kitchen, and that exhaust. I mean, one, as you said, they get expensive, but man, it's noisy, man. It's like a jet plane taking off sometimes. I mean, it's doing its job, but gosh, man, it is not minimalist whatsoever. It is right there in front of your face.
Yes.
All right, natural elements. Many folks weathered the pandemic by becoming plant parents, filling their homes with an array of greenery. This reflects a logical desire to bring life and growth into the space when dealing with so much illness and anxiety. It also reflects increasing concerns around the environment and sustainability. The focus on bringing the outdoors in extends to floral and leaf patterned textiles and accessories. In addition, sustainable materials such as bamboo, cork, glass, and reclaimed wood breathe life into stale interior spaces.
Love it. Just
Right?
love it. More and more of it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Good choices here. Discrete spaces. Gone are the days when an open concept floor plan was the only option for interiors. In search of privacy, homeowners are embracing the merits of cozy studies, sheltered reading nooks, accessory dwelling units, and other individualized spaces. For those with open floor plans, privacy can be achieved through room dividers or by repurposing existing elements of a room. For example, a small bump out can be designed as a distinct office or seating space rather than being incorporated into the design of the room as a whole. Even an underutilized closet can be reimagined as a small office, then shut away when not in use.
I love this part of this article the most
Hmm.
because I can't stand completely open style floor plans
Yeah.
with bedroom doors off of common spaces, where even when you're in a separate room, you
Hmm.
still feel like you're hearing everybody else
Yeah.
immediately next to you.
Yeah.
Never been a fan of that.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we're going back to a fully compartmentalized house, but having nooks and areas to move towards, and even
Yeah.
multiple gathering spaces in a house
Hmm.
is a lifestyle that works for me.
Yeah.
I know that.
In the same note, so to speak, you know, uh, Will, right? Will was also concerned about not just discrete spaces, but sound and how far
Yeah.
sound carries. And he wanted to enforce certain areas so he wouldn't have to listen to everybody else. And likewise him. So,
Yeah, yeah, and one of the things we've suggested, if you and because he's in a two-story house, if you're
yeah.
ever redoing flooring on a second story,
Yeah.
take the time to put in soundboard, 1-inch plywood, and glue it down. Um, yeah, like that's an awful sound transition up down, and you can
Mhm.
mitigate that if you're redoing flooring.
Yeah. Okay. Spruce up for spring. Want to ensure your listings look their best this spring? Here's how. Change out small items, including exterior lighting, bath vanity lighting, and door handles for an updated look at little cost. Update listing photos with fresh potted plants on porches, a new doormat, fresh paint on front doors, and shutters and additional landscaping. Stage a little without adding clutter. A candle, plant, and books will warm up an entry table as soon as they walk in the door. But cookbooks on the kitchen counters, along with a plant, wooden bowl, and kitchen towels, along with. Okay. Add a tall faux plant to an empty room or an accent chair and table. Place a few decorative towels and soap dispensers in the guest baths. It will make the space feel cozy and like home for potential buyers. Whether you're helping your listing clients to stage their home or helping your buyer clients to envision value added changes during their home search, it's important to keep abreast of the most popular design details in your market. Make a designer part of your professional network so that you're always aware of what's new and what's next in residential style.
Right. Yeah. Our advice is almost always based on either executing a multi-staged plan if you're a buyer, maybe if you can't do it all in the beginning, and we're sensitive to that, or based on a budget, creating a cohesive feel in a house. So that you're just making every space feel the best it can. Like, you don't want to go into the kitchen and go, this is an amazing kitchen. Oh, this is an awful bathroom. Like, the combination of those things don't help sell a house.
Yeah. That contrast is not good. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to put some effort across the board and get a general feel when you're prepping for sale.
Yeah.
And a lot of the small things they mentioned are extremely relative with a cohesive design.
Well, you've got to have this holistic picture to the whole thing. And as she said, right, the little things really can add up. So I know in a recent listing, we didn't do a whole lot, but it was paint and it was some new doorknobs. And I think it really gave it a little extra sheen, along with just the natural strengths of the home.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it does go a long way. If people feel like they can move in, even if they want to do improvements, it adds a lot of value. Even if they're going to change out what you did in the future, it's still they're going to pay more in the moment for it.
Yeah. So. It's right. Yeah, right. It may only last for a small amount of time, but it's an important part of time, and that's your selling period. Yeah, and what people are impressed by. So, absolutely. All right. So, well, great. Thanks. Go ahead.
We do have a designer on staff. So, important thing to point out, we realized that many years ago. So we always, that person's always a part of our listings and a part of our advice to help remodel after you purchase.
Yeah, you're so right. I'm glad you said that, because we definitely get the story and the picture from the owners. We certainly have our own viewpoints of things, but it's good to get a set of fresh eyes there and collaborate and get some other ideas. That always happens.
And you'll see as we jump into our next segment, as we do in all of our streams, we're going to talk about where designing wasn't incorporated and where things were not thought about. And those are always the houses that a buyer gets a good deal on, and good for the buyers. But a seller is falling short because they're not incorporating these components.